Sylvia, executive producer, Mel. Well, is he up there?
He's up there.
And would you please give it up for one of the main characters in the movie, Rick Springfield. I can imagine you had a lot of people you could choose from. How did you decide who was going to be the main character in this movie?
Well, I mean, obviously we knew it was Rick, and then finding the fans, we actually did a casting call. And we had close to 1,000 people send us their heartfelt stories.
1,000?
Yes, he's touched so many people, but there was literally 1,000 people who felt that he had changed their lives and had a meaningful impact on their life. And we really just found people that would be very active in his world in the year that we would be filming. So they had to be actively pursuing Rick and seeing concerts, and also knowing that like Lori Airplane Girl had footage from when she was a child really helped, because thinking back, you have to make her current. So now we had childhood video would make that powerful.
But I can imagine she's one of the main characters. You have the two girls, so like, oh my God, those girls. And you have the young kid who plays guitar. One more kid or one more person with a dramatic story would have totally changed the movie, would have totally changed the balance of the movie. How did you decide what the right balance was? The right balance between focusing on Rick and focusing on the fans, focusing on the drama, focusing on the fun stuff?
When we first spoke with Rick, Melanie and I had talked a little bit about the vision of the film. And it's funny because in docs, sometimes you don't know how they're going to turn out. But the film we described to Rick is the film you're seeing. And I don't know that you remember that, but we told you it's three things. It's Rick as an artist, but then more than that, it's seeing Rick through the eyes of his fans, that glory, that love. So when he's on stage, he's larger than life. And then it's the fans, and it's the impact that he's had in their lives, and how that impact affects their lives. And so it's really, that's the movie. And it was easy we didn't ever film other featured fans and then get rid of them. We knew these were our fans, and then we just, thank God they paid off, We stuck with them.
They did. Rick, what were your conditions?
My condition?
Were there any don'ts? Were there any?
Was that? Oh, I had no conditions. No, just not film my family. That's the only one. Very private about my family, but I'm okay with me.
Did you want to see it before it was released?
No, not really. I mean, I trusted Sylvia, and I saw some things, and I saw the direction she was going, and I thought it was pretty unique.
I can imagine that you're a musician for quite a couple of years, that you realize that your music plays a big role in the life of some people, that you may play a big role in the life of some people, but I can imagine that it's strange to see that you play a big role in the husbands of some of those people.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. That was kind of strange. That's something I have no concept of, and the first time I saw it was in the movie.
I got Rick the song.
Hey Man.
Remember Hey Man, and then Rick doesn't, like he says, he doesn't typically just meet with the husbands, but we just had to, get them all together, and it was pretty funny.
But it's really a tricky topic. I mean, you could make if you did it a little bit different, you could make fun of him. Yeah. How was that for you as a director? How did you choose how to, not make fun of somebody who's really expressing his feelings?
Well, I have to say, as not just a filmmaker, but as a human being, I don't like films that make fun of people or are mean-spirited. That's the words I would use. I don't like mean-spirited films. There's a lot of great ones out there, but it's never going to be a film I make. And I think embrace people and show the positive. And I know Melanie and I talked about that. Melanie's been in the fan community for so many years. We knew from the beginning, I think Rick got that we weren't going to make like something, like a schlock film or just like, something that Jerry Springer would be proud of, So we wanted to make something heartfelt and positive. I think in the world today, if you can show love and, positive things, why not? Do you want to say?
Yeah, are you holding the mic?
I will hold.
We really wanted everybody to kind of go inside and kind of find out what your Rick Springfield is. Like, of course, we'd love to introduce, especially the Dutch people who are not familiar with Rick, to Rick and his music. But we also really wanted everybody, I mean, we believe that everybody has that within them, that passion, that something. You know, as a teenager, I gravitated to Rick. And then as an adult, I found out, God, I wasn't the only freak. But it really, I think we all need that, as Sylvia said. It's, you know, like we said in the beginning, some people are addicted to cocaine, we're addicted to Rick Springfield. I'm sure a lot of you think that's crazy, but I think
Coke addicts.
I happen to think it's a pretty safe addiction, if you want to call it that. But
what was it a goal for you that the film had to be interesting to people that were not into Rick Springfield music?
absolutely, because as a fan, I've been teased. I've been told that, oh, I mean Bruce Springsteen, not Rick Springfield. I'm like, no, I mean Rick Springfield. So I felt that was really an important part. And that seems to be what a lot of the audience appreciates, the two ladies on the cruise that were just hysterical. And it's, you know, because I'm a part of the Rick community, to me it's not strange. But if it was, I don't know, who's a famous person? John Bon Jovi. Anybody else, see, it's only Rick for us Rick people. But if it was Bret Michaels or somebody else, you couldn't pay me. Unless it was something deep like our movie, so to go and sit through, you know, Bret Michaels' movie. So that was, we always wanted to go deeper and show substance and show that just because you're a fan, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you're a stalker or, you know, you're somewhere mentally deranged. Although Rick may beg to differ on that one.
Rick, the fun thing is that we have seen this movie, but there's also another movie where you're in. Dave Grohl, you all know from the Foo Fighters, he's directing his first movie, and he interviewed you for that. What kind of documentary is that going to be?
Oh, it's about Sound City, the studio where I recorded all my stuff, and Fleetwood Mac did, and Tom Petty, and Foreigner, and Pat Benatar, and he bought the board, and I wrote a song with the Foo Fighters that will be out in the project next year. It's actually a great song.
And the documentary is all about that studio and everybody that worked there.
Right, and all the great music that went through that studio. Okay. Because he recorded Nevermind there, and that was the big change in his life, so. Cool.
I have the mic, but I'm not the only one asking questions here. Who has a question? Please no statements, but questions. I'll come up to you.
I want to know why Doug was dragging that big-ass bag last night. All through the red light district.
Hi,
hello, the tourists are here.
Question for Rick. Isn't it odd for you to see that all these people, all these women built their lives completely around you? What was it like for you to see the film?
It was kind of weird to see that other side of it. Because I just, you know, I get up and play, then I go home. And their journey is a different journey, and it was really strange to see it. But also I get it, because I'm a fan too. I mean, I'm a fan of people, and I understand that connection, especially when it's made early in your life. I mean, I still love Cliff Richard and the Shadows. When I want to be comforted, I go there.
Were you like a big fan of somebody who went to a lot of shows from the same artist?
No, we didn't go to shows back then. My family couldn't afford it. But I saw, I met Hank and I met Cliff later on. That was, you know, better than going to a show, actually.
Is your question answered? Yeah? Your question.
Yes, you may go to the bathroom.
No statements, Lena.
She's good.
Okay. You're like filming all over the world. Were it like someday everything like went wrong? Like things didn't happen like you planned?
That's a good question.
Yeah, we want to know what it's going to be the deleted scenes and the bloopers. What went wrong?
You know, actually, well, I was going to turn it positive, actually. It wasn't so much went wrong, but when we started asking people at the Sweden Rock Festival, who are you here to see? And none of them really said Rick. Were like, and so then I remember talking to Doug, and they're kind of like, what? We're going to go to the campgrounds and talk to people that don't want to see Rick, and it turned out to be such a great part of the movie. And thankfully, I had someone like Doug with me and Melanie, and we could just talk to people. And it was, you know, you don't know if it's going to work out, but I love, you know, that's such a fun part. But there really wasn't. I mean, I think Rick got more comfortable with us as we started, but we started right into Milwaukee, heavy duty, you know, into the story. There wasn't really a process of getting to know each other and filming, but we didn't have a bad day. Really.
Yeah, I think we were really committed to have fun with this. I mean, we both have been in this business a long time, and I think we took what we could perceive as an obstacle, we turned it into an opportunity, even when, like, our camera person was delayed in Newark, and we were meeting Rick in Miami to go on the cruise. You know, it was a Sunday, and we just started calling everybody we knew, and sure enough, we found the camera person who was great, you know. Oh, yes, and we had some interesting, but you know, you can spin anything from a negative to a positive. So much is attitude. So to me, this has been such an amazing journey of just trusting the flow of life and not trying to control, which is really hard because I'm a total control freak. But I found by letting go, amazing things happen. So I'm hoping that continues on my journey because it's a better way to live.
Well, one question about that Sweden Rock Festival. You arrived there, you noticed, and your drummer said there are no girls. You know it's okay. It's going to be a different crowd. Does that mean you're going to put on a different show?
No, we put on the same show, but I mean, I am who I am, and I played that show, and it was pretty amazing to see the audience come alive. That was really great. I thought they'd punch me, but they just kind of let Marshall out.
One more question.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You have done this movie now, and you got the CD with fans singing and interactive covers. What's the next step?
Actually, we're doing a new tour next year where we're gonna hopefully come over to Europe, and start to open it up again.
Great.
Great, he said.
Yes. Where?
More questions. Oh,
Except for you.
Can you shout?
You've had your question.
Thank you for a very nice movie. We really enjoyed it. And I have one small question. So background is from Australia, or did I miss that?
Yeah,
You're from Australia, right?
Yeah, I was born in Australia. I moved to England when I was 10, and lived in England for a couple of years, and then moved back to Australia, and then basically ran to America when I was 21.
You decided to stay in the States?
Yeah, I always focused on America. I wanted to come to because I lived in England, all the bands in Australia were going to England, and I'd already been to England, so I wanted to come to America. And like you say, if you want something and you just step aside, it will happen.
And you have talent. That helps.
Yes.
No, you just gotta have a focus. You just gotta have a focus. You don't even need talent, actually. You just need a serious focus, and you will achieve what you want. You just have to believe it.
Is that question answered? One more question on that.
Oh, it's a three-part question. Go ahead.
I'm curious that you choose the United States above Australia, because Australia is such a rich and nice country.
It's a nice country.
She likes Australia better, so the question is, why the United States?
I wanted to be where the world was happening, and America was the center, and I'd lived in Australia most of my life, and I love Australia very much, but it's an Asian country surrounded by Asia, and it's a very difficult place to come from for the Western world. Back when I came here, when I first came to America, they asked me how long it took me to learn English. So they're very clueless of Australia in America. But you know, there's a lot of talent there, and it's come out since then. But I love Australia, and I'm going back there for Christmas.
One last question.
You said that's the third time you
Oh, sorry. Is there one last
I have a
question?
question. You have a question. How many last questions are there? Are we all good?
We're good.
You're all good?
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
very much. Thank you.